Hello and welcome to Quackalope, thank you for being here. Today I'm bringing you a how to play video of reviving Kathmandu from Boardgames. Now this is one of their Globetrotter series games where they explore the world and design based off of inspiration from the different areas they've been. First was Chile Mafia, and here is reviving Kathmandu, set in the foothills of the Himalayas in Nepal in the city of Kathmandu, where in 2015 an earthquake wreaked havoc on the landscape, destroying shrines and pagodas and historic monuments throughout the city. We're coming in as architects, doing our best to not only bid for the different resources we need, but also the rights to build, erect, and go ahead and restore this city to its former historic glory. In this how to play video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what it takes to get this game up and running and talk to you a little bit about the experience of play. Here at Quackalope, we take a slightly different approach to how to play videos. I do my best to talk to you as if we were sitting across the table, so if you have any questions along the way, feel free to leave a comment down below. We'll make sure that we or a member from the publishing team get back to you to clarify any points. Alright. The general idea, the general setup, the general objective of the game is to construct monuments. We're going to be bidding in different regions on the map here, which I'll explain in just a moment, to gain various cards. These cards are going to have different types of structures, along with various different colored building pieces. These building pieces will score for us if we've completed the structure, it's met either our personal objective, or scored from having various matching types of building parts. The lowest level structure, which is just going to be a Buddha monk, will score based off of having various different types of colors of monks that you've added to your tableau. That's the core objective. That's what we're going for here. The entire game is a fight over limited resources, limited cards, limited colors, and limited types of buildings that you can complete. Now, as far as setup goes, everything's going to be pretty easy. Everyone's going to go ahead and get their single player board. You'll get 3 point tracking or victory point cubes. 2 of those will go off to the side. 1 of them will be on your map. That's just in case you happen to score a ton of points, more than me, and you go ahead and wreak havoc on the game board. You'll gain a scoring objective card. This is going to set up the different parameters that you're looking for when you're trying to build your monuments. This will add some bonus points depending on the type of constructions that you make. Everyone else will have a player aid card and 5 of their bidding chips. These chips should all be the same color and should be numbered 1 through 5. You won't place them on the bottom of your board yet. You'll be doing that after you've actually used them in the bidding phase of the game. For now, keep them flipped over and hidden to the side of your stack. Now, the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and set up the card market. We're going to have a stack of red cards. All of these can be shuffled together. If you pay attention to the red cards as you're shuffling them, you'll know that both sides are the same. Unlike these blue cards that I was just showing you, not the Buddha, come on. Unlike the blue cards where I was just showing you where either side could be a different piece of a building and potentially a different color. That's going to change or inform the way that you actually bid and try to secure these cards as the game progresses. The red cards will be shuffled and placed over into their own pile. The blue cards will be shuffled depending on the number of players that you have. If you're playing 2 through 4 players, you'll be looking for cards without a little mark on the back of them. If you happen to be playing at a higher player count, 5 or 6, you'll grab all the cards with a little extra little mark on the back of them, and you'll shuffle those together. I'm going to set these to the side for now, just because I don't want to have to unmix my cards after I've shuffled them. From there, you'll go ahead and shuffle up your blue cards, and you'll prepare for the first round of the game. Now, the way we do that is we're going to deal cards out into these different bidding locations. Every player is going to be trying to earn these cards, and if they are unsuccessful at securing 2 cards from the market, they'll draw up these red cards at the end of their phase, or the end of the bidding phase. Now, like I said, these have more variety on them, so they might be more valuable for you to use. Now, depending on the number of players that you have sitting around the table, in a 2 to 4 player game, you'll bid out 4 cards. In a 5 or 6, you'll actually bid 2 additional cards to these locations. I'll talk about how those work in just a moment, but it's pretty straightforward. The bidding zone here becomes adjacent as opposed to bidding down columns, and these 2 zones become active bidding locations where you can place your chips. Again, we'll get to that in just a moment. The game is going to progress across 4 rounds with 3 phases per round. We're going to bid, we're going to collect, and then we're going to build. From there, we'll reset by drawing cards back out into the market and once again start the round. The entire game will last a total of 8 bidding phases, with a break or a shift at the end of the 4th round. when you only have one coin left, you'll get all your coins back and get a bonus, either in victory points or an additional card from other players' discard market. I'll touch on that again in just a second. So, the bid phase. We've set up the board, we each have our personal scoring objectives, we know what we're going for. You're then going to take a look at the table here and decide which cards are the most interesting to you, and you'll place down a bid. Now, each of these bidding locations has some important relevance. First off, when you're looking to bid, you're going to be bidding on the 2 cards that are following the column or row that your bidding chip is placed into. Here, I'd be bidding on these 2 cards. Here, I'd be bidding on these 2 cards. Same thing up top here, 1 and 2. So, placing down determines the 2 cards you're hoping to win this round. After that, bids are going to be determined, first based off of the hierarchy of the number. A 3 beats a 2. A 5 beats a 4. If you're the highest number, you'll win the cards in your row. If you tie on number, let's say both of you play 3s, it'll then come down to whoever is closest to the card they're trying to get. So for instance, if I place down a 2 here, and green place down a 2 here, we'd be tied across these rows. We'd both be bidding for the same cards, and we'd both have the exact same number. However, because I'm closer to the monk, and he's closer to this building piece, we would score each 1 card. After that, let's say we both played down into positions like this. For instance here, we both have bid for this same Buddha card. We both have a equal number, 2, so there's a tie there. We both are equally close to the card. The final tiebreaker who's ever on the long side of the card. So here, yellow would go ahead and take it because yellow is in a long position. So as you place down your bid, you want to keep in mind, where's your positioning? What card do you want the most out of all the cards that are out there in the market? And how high do you expect other people to be bidding for the cards you're going for? If you secure both cards, for instance, we were playing a shorter game here, and blue had placed down here, yellow would end up winning both of these cards, blue would end up winning both of these cards, and green, who lost this tie against the yellow and didn't beat a 3 with a 2, would have received no cards. If you receive 1 card, you'll draw 1 red card from the deck, making sure that you always have 2 in your hand. If you're in green's case and you received no cards, you'll draw 2 cards from the red deck, still giving you some building options, but restricting the type of flexibility and the specifics you can choose. After the bidding phase, everyone will have collected their cards. You should have a handful of cards, and that number may grow throughout the course of the game. After your building phase is done, you can only have a maximum of 3 cards, so keep that in mind as play continues. You'll collect your cards back into your hand depending on who won the various bids. You'll take your token and place it down onto your board, indicating that that token has been used, and you won't be able to access it again until after all the chips reset after the 4th round of the game. Then you'll come to the building phase of the game. This is where you start placing down the different objectives, statues, and buildings that you're trying to construct. Now, the game lays it out fairly simple. Each card has a little symbol showing what piece of a construction it is. You always have to start by building from the lowest piece up, and you're looking to either have a set of matching building types, an all yellow building, an all red building, because you'll get bonus points based off the number of matching colors you have in each unique construction, or you're looking to construct based off of the different card hierarchy you have. For instance, I want my lowest level of my secondary building to have yellow or white, which, luckily enough for me, I do have that here, and I could actually go ahead and complete this building by placing this green piece on top. That will score me some immediate victory points, but we'll get back to that in a second. For these other 2 building types that I have, these other 2 objectives that I'm looking for, I want my top and bottom to match in that 3rd one, and in this 4th one, I want my top and middle section to match. Now, you can tell that because the darker black region indicates that those 2 colors need to match in order to score those victory points. Now, in this building here, I would score immediately 3 points for having played down and finally constructed the top section of this small shrine. I would then score bonus points at the end of the game based off of having this completed, which will give me another 2 points. And if I happen to have matching colors here, I would score bonus points according to that as well. The way the points work are, for 2 colors, you'll score 2 points. For 3 colors, you'll score 4 points, and for 4 matching colors, you'll score 8 points. So in this case, I won't score anything additional. But if I had a building that was 4 green cards all stacked together, I'd somehow collected that across the table, I would score an additional 8 points immediately upon construction. That's the general flow of the game. The only major other element of it comes down when you only have 1 chip left. When you only have 1 chip left, you have 2 options as to what to do with that chip. And it'll go in turn order based off of whoever has the highest number. So if I had my 5 left, I then could either discard this chip, resetting my entire market, in order to grab 1 discarded card from around the table, or I could actually turn this chip, this 5, or 4, or 3, or 2, or 1, into victory points immediately. So depending on where you are and what time it is in the game, you might want to hold on to some of those extra chips, not to win bids out here in the center, but instead to secure those additional victory points at the very end. After you've went through 8 full rounds and you've built everything you've been able to build, you'll come to the final scoring phase. The final scoring phase is fairly simple. You're going to be looking through your tableau, taking note of how many points you immediately have, and then checking these last conditions. You'll discard all remaining cards that you have. They're not worth anything. You'll score points based off the topmost card of any incomplete buildings you've constructed. Sometimes that'll be 2 points, like in this case, but other times, to your own dismay, that might be something like -1 point. If you started a construction that you were unable to complete, you might actually get penalized for that because you promised the people you'd restore their ancient shrine. Then you'll score objective bonuses for your completed monuments, taking a look down here and scoring for any that you've completed based off of the building guidelines you've been given. Now, again, during the course of the game, you should have scored points based off of every additional colored monk you've placed out and based off of the top of any completed structure, along with bonus points based off of matching set or colors of building pieces. After that, you'll determine whoever has the most victory points, and they're the winner, the most famous architect in all of Kathmandu. Then you can, of course, reset and play the game again. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this how to play video. Hopefully it was instructional and gave you a good sense of exactly how this game flows and some of the details when it comes to the actual play. Whatever the case though, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing, get out and play some games. We'll see you next time.